Well, we're going to try and make this fairly short today. I've got quite a bit of stuff to do today, and I wanted to get something at least going for you guys. I apologize. I'm wearing my glasses today and have been for the last week or so, so we're going to get some glare off of those. But nonetheless, shop update stuff. I've got quite a bit done on the airplane. At this point, we've got the last wing. The top skin is all installed and clecoed in place, and I'll have videos out of that shortly. That's what I'm going to spend part of the day today and tomorrow doing, is editing video for that, because I probably got 14, 16 hours of footage for the Xena 701 project, and we've got to order some more materials to keep going on that. I've got a few things I can do yet before that has to happen. And let's see, one of the big changes I'm making to the shop, and I have done it for years, throughout 30 years of dealing with the public through the gun shop, through my repair shop. Why, I've always been at customers' beck and call for, they want to come and drop this off or drop that off and pick this up and do that. And I've always done that because that's what my business has revolved around. Now that I'm basically retired, the things I do, I'm going to work more on my time. Here recently, just in the last week or so, I've had about 3 different individuals that want me to do Hornady 366 work. And I'm still doing those. I don't have a problem with them when somebody emails me about that, why I'm giving them a quote of about what it's going to cost to do. I've done several of those where I've completely stripped them out, sandblasted them, repowder coated them, and rebuilt them with automatic with automatic indexing and swing out wad guides. I'm no longer doing the sandblast and repowder coat. On those, I'm stripping them down. We're replacing things that are necessary, although it's usually very little that needs to be replaced, and we're converting to auto advance and swing out wad guides. And I quote that as what it is. At this point in time, those are about a 6 to 8 week turnaround time. The same way with the Dillon Swager conversions. Those are listed on the website for what I'm quoting those to do. You ship your Swager into me, I do the conversion, ship them back out. That's 1 to 2 week turnaround at this point in time. Things are going to change now. The policy that I'm changing is the guys that want to drop stuff off and pick them up, I'm no longer doing. And even phone calls, I'm very limiting. And what's prompted this is I just got a request for my phone number to discuss one of these Hornady projects. Basically, I'm quoting those through an email as to what it's going to cost to do it at that particular time. I try and give you some sort of a turnaround, although I'm pretty much saying 6 to 8 weeks. So for right now, I'm no longer doing that. If you want me to do that work, I'm still more than happy to do it for you. You're going to ship it into me. I'm going to do whatever works we've agreed to do. I'm going to bill you for it, and once it's paid, I'm going to ship it back out to you. The reason being, I've spent a tremendous amount of time over the years, and here recently the same way on some of these other conversions that I'm doing through my YouTube channel or over the internet. Tremendous amount of time either speaking to people on the phone, spending time with them when they drop stuff off, spending time with them when they pick it up. The way I'm set up right now, why the gates you come through to get back into my shop, I've been parking one of my big Harleys in that gate. So if somebody's coming, I have to move that out, uncover it, move it out, move it back when we're done, cover it back up, all that stuff. And all this stuff takes me a tremendous amount of time. And I said once I retired, I wasn't going to have to deal with quite as much of this stuff. And this is one of my biggest frustrations, is spending time waiting on people or adjusting my schedule to do those things. I'm no longer going to do that. And I apologize if that turns you off from me doing work for you. If that doesn't fit with the way you want to do business, I apologize. But I'm spending way too much time. And when I say way too much time, probably an average of 15 to 20 hours a week are wasted on me either spending time one-on-one with people, discussing things over the phone that basically I've already covered and we don't need to discuss. There's going to be exceptions to that on phone conversations, but for the most part, between that, seeing people and things like that, we're eliminating that. You know, I'm retired. I'm doing things on my schedule now. I've got some classes that I'm taking, some instruction that I'm taking, and along with my other projects to produce castings and things like that. You know, last week I had the furnace fired up 3 different days doing castings, both to catch up on inventory and prototyping some new stuff, getting some more flask hardware cast up and things like that. So my time is better utilized by that. So I realize shipping's expensive. When it comes to shipping these Hornadies around the country, you're spending any place from $40 to $60 each way here in the U.S. So yes, that's $120. If I figure my time in that I spend on dealing with people one-on-one, I spend at least that much time and money too by doing that. So we're eliminating that. So I'm not going to dwell on that any more than I already have. That's the way it is. You know, if I'm sorry if that offends people, if that seems more impersonal than I need to be, you know, that's the way it is. So anyway, that's that. Fleabay edition. This is going to be a quick little Fleabay edition. I've kind of glanced at some of this stuff. I'm going to very quickly go through these and point out what I see. I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time at all because I want to get done with this, get this video out, and I've got some shaper guards I want to get finished out yet today, along with a couple other things as well as editing some video. So anyway, what we've got if we look under Atlas shapers. First thing right off the bat is an Atlas 6-inch rotary table for shaper or horizontal mill, 5.5-inch table, Atlas 7B, pre-owned, $250, zero bids, and $15 shipping. This is the first thing that pops up. I'm not going to go in and look at it. Well, I probably will because it looks like the corners are scarfed off on it. Yeah, it's got 2 of the T-slots on the end have been busted out. Number one is this is not a shaper rotary table. This is the milling machine rotary table. If it were the Atlas rotary table, you would see the 4 holes in the base. It would be the square base underneath it with the 4 holes to bolt it to the shaper table. The milling machine has 2 slots, one on this side and one on this side that you can just barely see the little corner of it. Let's see what it says here, since we're here. Atlas 6-inch rotary table for horizontal mill or shaper. No, it's not the shaper. I used it on my Craftsman 7-inch shaper. It will work on similar other small pieces chipped off of edges, but generally in good condition. You know, if it was pristine, they're a $200 accessory. With it scarfed out on the corners here like this, this is a $125, maybe $150 table. There's a big gouge out of the edge of that T-slot too. What's the rest of this look like? I guess we could look at the big pictures, and actually we're better off looking at the smaller pictures and just zooming in. So scarfed out a little bit on that corner, 2 T-slots busted out in the corners, $125, $150, and then that $15 shipping is all it's worth. But it is misrepresented. It is not for a shaper. It is for the milling machine. Bottom's got the key in it to fit on the milling table. And, you know, if it was being used on a shaper table, this key would have been removed because it will not bolt onto a shaper table. It will not bolt onto a shaper table with that key installed. It, on the shaper table, is going to sit across the 2 corners. Out of the 3 T-slots, it's going to set one in each outer edge T-slot, and it's going to set at an angle. So this key is not. The seller either knows or is totally ignorant that this does not actually fit on the shaper table. So that's my take on this. $125 at the most. These are not, or $150 at the most. $125 probably is a fair price for this. These are not a real good rotary table. If you're going to set them up at one angle and cut an angled slot in them where you can manually adjust it, cut your slot, and then move it if you need to, that's fine. If you're trying to do radial work around it, cut arcs or things like that, this is a very poor design. It does not work well. So anyway, that's what you got. Let's move on very quickly here. Atlas Craftsman 1012 lathe or 7B shaper countershaft motor mount S70108Q1. This is from one of our sellers. It's always overpriced. There is some differences in these motor mounts between the lathes and the shapers. They may be interchangeable, but I do not believe these are 100% the same. They made several different variations. I'd have to go back and look. And this is actually off of a shaper with this bracket. This setup, if you need one, 125 bucks, half, worth half. Multi-position metal shaper tool holder, 7B and others, 250 bucks. No, it's not worth 250 bucks. These are, these are bringing big bucks, which means 100 bucks is all they're worth. And this is an Atlas shaper tool holder. So, 100 bucks. This is from one of our sellers that sells an awful lot of stuff, knows what's going on with these. This is worth 100 bucks. No more. No more, no more. Now this is a seller that's always here to rip you off. 7B shaper knee, cross rail, lift screw shaft, parts, on and on and on. There's a bunch of stuff here. We'll just show this picture. 400 bucks and 1705 shipping. No, you don't need a table. Even it does have the cross rail and all that good stuff. With all of that stuff for what you got, 150 bucks. Right below it, same seller, more parts. He's parted out this one machine. Ram clamp, block screw gear. The parts for he wants 400 bucks. No, those are worth 75 bucks. Here's a set of wipers, $29.99 and $5.95 shipping. This is from the 7-inch metal shaper. I think this is too much. These are in pretty good condition. They're probably $29.99 and $5.95 shipping is not that far out of line. So, pays your money, takes your chances. Hinge for the shaper. L6723 also lathe. I don't know that that's also for the lathe. $49.95. That's about a $25 or $30 part right there. L7B tool post clapper and swivel assembly, a 7-inch 8AX, excellent condition, 200 bucks. No. The problem, this is a brand new seller, the problem that I have with this is we say excellent condition. Anytime they say excellent condition, you're being screwed right off the bat. This has got all kinds of scarf marks on it. I think it's probably been repainted at one point in time. That does not look like a true Atlas color, although it could just be the difference in what he's got here. When you look at it a little bit closer, there's some corrosion on the tool handle. It's beat up a little bit. Look at all the staining on the top of this clapper. No, 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 no. 100 bucks. 100 bucks, 100 bucks. 50 years of grime on the edges. 50 years of grime in the screw. 50 bucks. Or 50, 75, maybe 100 bucks. No more than that. Nope, 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 nope. I could go read the description, but I don't care. Here's our same overpriced seller. A bunch of internal parts for the shaper. It's a shaper he's parting out. He wants 500 bucks. Nope, there's 150, 200 bucks worth of parts. Right below it, same seller, I'm sure. I've kind of looked at this stuff a little bit earlier. Counter shaft, S7-2120, 124, 12119 assembly. 450 bucks and 8005. Now it's worth half of that. It's worth 200 bucks. 200 bucks at the outside. Now here's a couple of them here, and I think we're about done with these. Here is a Walton American No. 5 small metal shaper tool holder, like Armstrong 39, Atlas Logan. This is a seller that's been around a while. Here again, this is a marketing ploy, and this is misleading at best, if not an out-and-out lie. Walton American No. 5 multi-position metal shaper tool holder for a small shaper like an Atlas, South Bend, Logan, etc., like the Armstrong 39. This is one of the smallest shaper tools. Shank is only 3/8 wide, 11/16 tall, and about 5.5 inches long. Real nice shape, no rust. Looks like the top of the shank was milled down a little. Please see pics. Doesn't affect use. Includes cutter as shown. These shaper tools are hard to come by in this small size to fit the little shapers like the 3/8, 7/16 slot in the tool post. Alright, if we look at the pictures, we can look at this as and call this an out-and-out lie. Let's just look at the big pictures here. This would have been stamped in the middle, which means they've taken off this much material off the top, because we're almost there to the thing. This was designed for a far larger machine than an Atlas or a Logan. or a South Bend shaper. Okay, I don't care what lie they want to tell you. And is this specifically a shaper tool holder, or is this a lathe tool holder that's been highly modified and being marketed as a shaper tool holder? You get this style of an index, you got a lot hanging out there by comparison to what you would normally have with a standard, even a lathe tool bit. And you've got a big hunk of metal down here on those little shapers where you don't have a tremendous amount of clearance anyway. Top it off, it was designed for a bigger tool posts, where this would have been an extra, probably at least 1/4 inch taller, I'm guessing. So when you milled that off, you've got, instead of being able to choke up on that tool holder down to about this area right here, you're having to hold it in your tool post clear back here. So you've got extra overhang here. You've got extra overhang out the back, so that could potentially, if it's long enough, interfere with your with the action of the clapper itself. This is a piece of shit, and they want $139 for it. I think that's what they wanted for it. Yeah, you can see the whole top's been just ground off. So no, it's not worth $140. This is worth $30. $30, and pay your $8 shipping. So yeah, don't be taken in by these rip-off artists, and that's what this is. Same one here, we've got a 7B shaper door for the Atlas shaper. This is from our high price seller that's parting out this machine. Now if we look at this, all it says is Atlas 7B shaper door S7-89. Look at the big pictures quickly here. Okay, the shaper door itself is not bad. What did they want for this? $200. Nah, $200. You're smoking dope. Okay, the badge is shot. All the stuff's gone off the badge. It's not in great shape, but it's okay for a door. I mean, you're going to strip it out, you're going to repaint it to match your machine, and it's going to be a fine door. This clip and this, they don't go to this door at all. This fits the larger guard. It goes on the other side of the machine to hold the larger guard closed. So why is it here in the picture? It looks like he's giving you something that you really need, and it's not anything you want at all. Not what you're after. Yeah, that clip does not even go with this door. So there's the clip that actually fits on that door. Otherwise, this door is an okay door. You know, there's nothing wrong with it, but it's not worth $200. Now, I've seen a lot of the later doors that were either ground off or cast with this section out on both sides, so you didn't have as much retaining, and it's so it would fit easier. These took a little more fitting when they've got the full outside edges on here. Doesn't affect operation either way. But anyway, this door is worth $75 to $100. That's all it's worth. So don't let them suck you in. $75 to $100, not $200. It's worth half or less. Same way, it got the handle on top that locks the ram in position. $150 and $17 shipping. I'm not even going to look at it. That's $50 part. Now here's feed ratchet case and assembly, and he wants $650. This is the same seller. No, 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 no. This appears to me to be the earlier model assembly. It may be complete. It's well worn. It's well used and abused with all of this. You know, I glanced at this earlier. This is going to be wore out. You know, this feed nut on here is going to be wore out. Everything's grungy, dirty. He took it off, threw it on the table, took a picture, and said, "I'm going to screw these people out of $650." This stuff's worth $200. Everything on there. It's well worn, well used, and abused. Okay, it does have the ratchet box on it with this Phillips screw and washer on it like that. That's this is not all as it should be. This is well used and abused. Who knows if this is complete or if this is cracked out, because that's the part that always cracks out, is right up there. So no, these parts are worth $200. $200, because if you've got any parts of a machine at all, you don't need most of these parts anyway. So this is just a machine that he stripped down thinking he's going to screw you with. Well, anyway, 200 bucks, not 650. Rip off artist. Atlas Milling Machines, Shaper Vice Crank Handle, USA made, 3/8 square, Fairmont. I won't look at this other than the fact that they want $179.99 for it. These are worth 80 to 100 bucks. This is the proper wrench for on the mill and the shaper. It's the same wrench for both of them. It's a Fairmont. That's the normal brand that you would see, or one of the normal brands you would see on these. It's worth about half of that. But otherwise, there's no complaint about it other than it's overpriced by twice. Same rip-off seller here, ram clamp and pointer with screws. All it is the scales with the screws to hold them on there. 80 bucks and $17.10 shipping. No, these are worth in used condition 20 bucks and $5 shipping. Now by comparison, here's the same seller. He's got the ram assembly. He wants 50 bucks, buy it now. He wants 90 bucks to ship it, which is too much, but he wants $50 to buy it now. Now if you look at what he wants for all these smaller parts that might be useful compared to what you're getting for a complete ram that he's willing to sell for 50 bucks, no, he's ripping you off. Going down, there's a couple more here we can look at very quickly and then we'll move on. Here's a metal shaper. We've looked at this one. This is a brand new seller. He wants $2,000 or best offer. His new seller, the pictures are laying down on their sides, so you can't really get a real good look. It's kind of confusing. The vise is not the proper vise. It's missing both guards. $2,000 or best offer, free local pickup. This is an $800 machine. That's all that machine's worth, is 800 bucks. And I think the last one we'll look at here is a 7BS7-8A shaper, tool post clapper and swivel assembly. I want 400 bucks. Oh, and this is our rip-off seller again here. Just spend a minute here. Beat up, beat to crap. I believe this is probably not the proper top plate. These were originally a plated part, a Zamac part that was plated. This it's painted and it looks like it's been beat up pretty bad. I would say this is somebody's shop-built replacement part. You know, this thing's going to be wore out like crazy. What else do we... Yeah, see, look at how this screw's all chewed up. You know, that would be a larger Phillips screw that has all the edges are chewed out over it and everything. I remember when I looked at this. The pin that the clapper operates on, it's been driven in there. If it's the proper taper clapper anyway, normally they'll extend out the end, but this has also been peened on the end to help tighten it up. This is a piece of shit, is what this is. This is a piece of crap. It's worth 75 bucks at the outside, and he wants 400 for it. No. Rip off artist. Okay, moving on. Let's not waste any more time here. Let's look at milling machine stuff. Oh, now here's another. I won't go and look at this, but milling attachment crank handle, small vise, Atlas South Bend, 1/2 inch square. They want 50 bucks and $9 shipping. No matter what kind of a handle it is, it's a 1/2 inch square. It doesn't fit anything on the milling machine or the lathe for the Atlases. Atlas horizontal milling machine arbor support arm M1-9. I've talked about these before. The seller says it's in good condition. I'm not going to go and look at it again. All this is a piece of round shafting that is center drilled on both ends, which is and their radius slightly. 200 bucks or best offer. I've said before, you can build these material wise. Was about 50 bucks for a good piece of material. You can use standard cold roll. There's nothing special about this at all. This is just a piece of round shank. I don't remember the size, 1.5 inches, probably 1.25 inches. I'd have to go back and look. We talked about them before. There's nothing at all spectacular. It's not a moving part. All it is a support bar. 50 bucks, you know, for a usable one. You can, you know, take and round the edges on your grinder, on your polish or whatever, to give it so you don't cut yourself on the end, and so it slides into the overarm supports, and you've got one for 60 bucks. To give $200 for one of these is foolish. Foolish. That same rotary table. There's some horizontal milling attachments, things like that. I'm not going to look at most of these here. One of our other sellers that sells a bunch of reproduction and new parts that's always overpriced. He's got new Atlas milling machine power feed gearbox lever M162, new, brand new, $49.99 and $10.25 shipping. The $49.99 is probably not that bad a price, but that's not brand new. That's a used one. That's a used one. You're not going to tell me that's new. That's a lie. So, you know, pays your money, takes your chances, but that's not new. That's either we're not paying attention or else he thinks you're stupid. Same seller, rare Atlas milling machine M1567. It's cutter arbor, less spacers, fine used, $125.99 and $18 shipping. No, a used one complete with spacers should be worth about $125 to maybe $150. Same seller, table casting, fine used shape, $150 and $62.53 shipping. So you got $200 in it. I looked at the table. It's not a bad table. There's a bunch more staining and stuff on the bottom, and who knows how well it's actually worn. The top of the table is not scarfed up. I'd be hard pressed to give more than 125, maybe $150 in the door. Otherwise, milling attachments, Atlas horizontal milling machine M1401B spindle belt guard pre-owned, $450. No, I think I sell these for two and a quarter, something like that. I don't know what that extra hole is that's down there in the casting. Let's look at the big pictures. I don't know what this hole is. The lower guard has been busted off and somebody's tried to repair it. He's given that to you as I remember reading his description, but it's busted. It's worthless. It's a piece of crap. You know, and he says he's got the knob and the hinge pins and all that good stuff, which is true. Looks like they're all there and everything. Doesn't make it worth $450. Makes it worth $200. Is what that guard's worth. $200. $200. $200. $200. No more. And he wants $450, but he's going to give you free economy shipping. Well, of course he is. For $450, he should hand deliver it to you. Okay. Nothing else that I think I want to waste both our time looking at. Here's somebody else got a table. Oh, and this is our high price seller. This is our really high price seller. He's got a table here, rusted up a little bit. I'm not going to look at it very close. Got some staining on the top. A little bit of corrosion down in there. Bottom looks about the same. War in the center, it looks like a little bit more than on the outsides, which is where it spent its life. He wants $250 and $22.45 shipping for it. So he wants $50 more than the last guy wanted, and the last one was probably in a little bit better condition, but it still wasn't worth the $200 he wanted for it. So I don't know why this guy thinks he can get $250 out of his. Now here is, and I did not look at this, here is a mill, very nice, rare vintage antique. $29.99.99 with no bids or a $4,000 buy it now and $200 shipping. Now this is kind of interesting here. Somebody's had a couple little oil ports sticking up there to oil the bearings. Looks like there's a hunk out of the side cover casting. Maybe that's just shadow, but it looks like there's a hunk out of that casting. The door's been replaced at some, or the hinge, let's look at the bigger pictures. Hinge assembly's been replaced at some point in time because color doesn't match. Got quite a bit of rust on both the overarm support and the arbor that's there. Boy, you can't really tell by looking at these pictures what it is. Later machine, because that's the later guards on it. Let's go back and look at the smaller pictures again. Let's see, yeah, that'll be the 401B on it. Looks like it's got a drawbar. I think it's probably been repainted at some point in time, although I could be mistaken. You look at the wear that's on the switch and you look at the rest of the paint and it looks in awful good condition. Yeah, and the table looks like it's been painted on the ends maybe. That may be an original vise. It's hard to tell. It kind of looks like it from that angle. Got an overarm support with it. Okay, it's got a patent number, serial number, got Craftsman and Sears badging on it. And you know, it looks like there's an awful lot of badging on here. Now that could be proper for stuff that came through Sears like that, but to have the patent number on it plus a serial number tag and then a model number tag on top of it, I don't know. I guess that's just shadow. That casting's not busted out, although what do we got? Right there at the base, right there in the middle of that drawing, looks like there's a hole there. Not sure about that. Yeah, the arbor driver and all that stuff's all awful grungy if it is proper. Everything there looks relatively correct as near as I can tell. You say that arbor looks awful. Not sure why we'd have a hunk out of that T-slot or out of that slot in the arbor. Now it's got tables. Yeah, it's got the table slots, but I can't tell if those don't look to be the original table slots on there. They were shaped, or stops, I mean. A lot of stuff that doesn't really look quite 100% right to me. Yeah, see, it's got the table stops on both ends, and then it's actually got the power feed trip right there in the middle of the screen. So I don't know how. I think it's got a Dayton motor on it. That's been changed out. No handle on this end. Some sort of a pipe, something or other stuck down in there. That would normally be the drain for your table if you're running coolant. That may very well be an original vise, but it's been machined. Well, maybe that's just a piece of material in there. Maybe the vise hasn't been machined away. I don't know. That's kind of a ragged looking machine for wanting $4,000 for it. Those two holes is where your coolant support pump would normally sit. That looks to be, maybe that's the proper belt for it. I don't know. There's things that don't look quite right to me. Anyway, not gonna spend any more money or any more time on it. $1,500 machine. And we're done there. Let's very quickly look at lathes. Somebody's got an antique Craftsman 101 21400 mini lathe, metalworking, vintage rare, excellent condition. $500 no bid or best offer, $229.10 shipping. This does not include the stand as I remember seeing it when I looked at this earlier. Machine that's, excellent condition. Excellent condition. Here we are with that excellent condition stuff. Not a bad looking 6-inch lathe, 6-inch Craftsman. The thing that stood out to me, let's see if we can see it here. Where's the picture? I saw it here earlier when I was looking at it closer. Look at the markings on the bed where the cross slide's been run or traversed back and forth. Now part of that may just be the staining being worn off of it a little bit of surface rust, but when you compare this backside, it looks a whole lot deeper right there in that area than it does farther down towards the tailstock. So to me, it's been, of course, run back and forth right in the middle or up closer to the headstock where they normally see most of their use. And I would say this is wore more in the center than it is just on the ends. So this was probably turned long stock, long spindles, whatever the case may be, most of its life. Um, we're back to that excellent condition. Well, that's just crap. Used and abused. Now, I will say $500 is a starting bid. Of course, it doesn't have any bids yet. $500 is probably not too far out of line. All you add that $229 shipping. Um, Make offer, I would say this is a, if you're gonna have to pay shipping on top, this is a $300 machine. Some tool holders. Nothing else that really jumps out at me. Here's a Atlas Metal Lathe 3986 pre-owned, $750 or best offer. We've talked before. This is 3 or 4 times the machine of a 10-inch, and yet they want less money. You do have a bigger machine that you're going to have to move around, although they're not that much bigger. This is by far a better buy than most of these 10 inches that they want $1,000 and $1,200 and $2,000 for. Now here's a Atlas Craftsman 10-inch heavy metal lathe, 48-inch bed with extra parts, cutters, and tooling. $400, and it's got one bid. I'm not going to go in and look at this. If you're interested, go and look at it. It says he thinks it's complete, and on and on and on. There's some real problems with this. This is a parts machine, and whether it's all from one lathe or not, I can't even tell you that for certain. But it says it looks to be complete. I don't see a motor mount at all. I see counter shaft parts. I see a bunch of parts, but I do not necessarily see a complete lathe here. So, would I give $400 for it? No. If I was able to pick it up someplace locally, it'd be worth $200 to me, maybe. Maybe. But anyway, we're going to leave it there. I don't know. I'm not focused as well as I should be on a lot of this stuff yet. I'm trying to get back into the swing of things, but we're also trying to do some of this other stuff that we want to get done and proceed forward. So hopefully that gives you a little bit of information. We're going to hopefully do better as we go farther, and I'll get back onto some sort of a schedule for doing both these and giving shop updates and getting some videos out. Like I say, it's been busy enough here lately that we've had other stuff going on. So anyway, hopefully you find something useful here. Comments, suggestions, leave them in the comment section for me below. And as always, guys, thanks for taking the time to watch.